Okay, as we get prepared for a new start, 2018, today we're going to talk about goals. Now, we're going to take a fresh approach to goal setting this year because I know a lot of people will glaze over when I talk about goals. Some people get excited, but most people glaze over. So let's first talk about the importance and what's the purpose of a goal. And a really good goal, it'll do a couple things. Number one, it will focus us. It will create a tremendous amount of energy and effort, time. We'll be able to utilize our resources more effectively when we set a goal that is a good fit for us. Not every goal is a good fit. So we'll talk about that as well here in just a moment. So a goal, Macy's going to be helping me out today in today's video. So we know a goal is a good fit, number one, if that goal has meaning to us. So for many years at this time of the year, I'd set a goal to be more organized. And what I found out after being disappointed year after year after year because I didn't change my behavior is simply that I'm already organized in the areas that are important to me, and the areas that are not important to me, I continue to stay disorganized. Not a big deal for me. So I no longer set that goal. It's not meaningful. So a goal should first be meaningful. The other thing is it should be a stretch goal, but yet still attainable. We want the goal to push us just a little bit outside of our comfort zone, all right? But not so much that it's something that would take 5, 10, 15 years. That's a dream. That's not a goal. Dreams are super important, but right now we're just talking about a goal, 12 months or less. Could be a 6-month goal, 3-month goal. It could be a 4-week goal, all right? So as long as Macy doesn't take down our lights today, we're going to be in good shape. What's happening? You want to say something? You don't even talk. So it has to be a stretch, yet obtainable, all right? And should have a time frame around it. So here are some of the goals that I've set in the past, both ones that were very, very positive, created some energy, goals that were productive for me, as well as goals that left me disappointed, and we'll kind of distinguish between the two. So for me, I'm a trainer, right? So I'm going to talk about fitness related goals. I'm not a relationship coach, although we should definitely set relationship goals with our parents or with our spouses, with our kids. I got a kid over there in the background who's hiding. There she is. We should set work goals, career goals. If you own a business, of course, you better be planning for the next year and setting some goals. Get your butt out of there. So my examples will be fitness related goals. All right. So for me, I would set a goal to run a 5K, 10K, half marathon, full marathon. And usually my goal was just to do a little bit better than my previous event. So if it was a half marathon, I'd got a 2-hour time. I'd like to shoot for maybe 1 hour and 55 minutes for my next goal, as an example. Okay? So what happens is I set this goal. It's meaningful to me. It's obtainable. It's a stretch, but not too much of a stretch. I can do that. I'll set up maybe a 16 or a 20-week training program, and it gives me energy. I know what I'm doing. Monday, I have a certain type of workout I'll be doing on Monday. Tuesday, I might be doing some track speed work. Wednesday could be a steady state tempo run. Thursday could be hill repeats. Friday, I'm gonna take a down day in preparation for a long run on Saturday. Sunday, I'm gonna recuperate as we begin that next week of training again on Monday. So those worked really well. But here's the downside of setting goals. So for 16 weeks, for 20 weeks, that goal energized me. It got me out of bed. It got me very consistent with my training. But sure enough, I'd run the Flying Pig Half Marathon. I'd be very happy with my performance on that day. I'd give people high fives as I'm coming down the final mile. I'd high fives at the finish line. And I'd be tweeting out and sending text messages to my friend, putting it on Facebook about my PR, etc. But then I'd go to bed on Sunday night and I wouldn't have a reason to get out of bed on Monday. So I learned that I need to set another goal. And ideally, I should set it 1 to 2 weeks before I achieve or before we bring the original goal to fruition. So, and I'd go ahead and go after that second goal. It could be a simple recovery goal, especially if it was a marathon that I did. The body needs 4 to 6 weeks of downtime, not no training time, but just reduction in volume, reduction in intensity. Just get the blood flowing for 4 to 6 weeks to allow the body to completely heal and recover. And then as I was getting close to attaining or bringing the second goal to fruition, then of course I would set a third goal. And so I learned over time that if I don't set another goal, there's not going to be a reason. All of a sudden the energy behind the original goal goes away. So life changes, circumstances changes, conditions change constantly. And I'll give you a great example. Running was something that made me super excited, energized, happy. I felt better emotionally, mentally, psychologically for sure. If you know me and if you're around me after a couple days that I haven't been exercising, I'm not fun to be around. So running was like my favorite thing to do. And one day I'm coming back to our fitness studio from a long run, and there's a little intersection on Erie and Brotherton where there used to be a stop sign. Now there's a stop light, and somebody instead of pulling the pole out of the ground, they cut it out of the ground, and they left about 3 inches of the pole sticking out of the ground. On this particular day, the grass was about 4 inches above the ground, and so I didn't see it. Now, my right foot found it, and my left knee found Erie Avenue, violently smashing down into the middle of the road. And eventually I had to have some knee surgery, and looks like I need additional knee surgery, so I can't run anymore. Life changes, circumstances change, the environment changes. So over time, by setting another goal and realizing that we can't control the environment, we can't control life circumstances. If we set a goal to be a great parent, we can't always control our children, although we can certainly influence them. We can't control our spouse and how they're going to react to certain things and whether they're having a good day or a bad day. So we need to instead, in addition to creating goals, we need to set a standard. And that is, what's the word I'm looking for, Kay? A standard is much more prolific. It lives on well beyond a goal time period. And so a great standard might be, I exercise 5 days per week. So it's very similar to when I set a goal to run a marathon, but this time it's not based on all the super specifics. It's just saying I need to exercise 5 days per week. Another great standard that goes with that is when I exercise, I should be working at about 80% of my maximum ability. So now I've got two standards that come together and create a consistency over time. Think about the standards that you have in your life. What makes standards really special is the fact that we do not violate them. If we do violate them, we do not feel very good about ourselves. We feel uncomfortable. For example, here's a standard that I'm pretty sure that everybody watching this has. If you have a toddler, 2 to 3 year old, you're not going to leave your toddler with a complete stranger while you are at work all day long. It's just a standard that you have. You've set that for yourself. You're not going to leave your baby with a stranger, right? Same thing, I have a standard. My next door neighbors, Dorit and Dolph, are going away. They're going to go down to Florida for the cold months. They're going to be gone a long time. It's a perfect opportunity for me to sneak inside their house and steal their flat screen TV. The only problem is I have a standard that says I would never steal my next door neighbor's flat screen TV. All right, I'm sure that's a similar standard to what you have. So that's why standards are powerful. These are ways that we view ourselves. These are standards. This is what I stand for. This is what I'm all about. And so goals are really energizing and invigorating, yet they have a short lifespan. Okay, we're not going to have a goal, generally speaking, that lasts 10 years. But a standard could last 10 years, 20 years, an entire lifetime. So as you think about what you want to achieve, setting just a handful of goals this year around your health, around your fitness, in your relationships with your spouse, with your kids, your work, career, or business type relationships. I want you to think about goals along with what is the bigger standard, what is more prolific, and start to think about 2018 from a perspective of a standard. If you were to violate that standard, doesn't mean you have to be perfect, but there's a little bit of uncomfortableness inside your body when you say, I work out 5 days a week, and you only made it to 4 workouts. Now, 5 days per week is too much. It's okay. Set a different standard. Could be 3 days per week. And 80%, working at 80% of your maximum ability is awesome. Because if you've been sedentary for a decade, 80% might mean I just walk around the block for 20 minutes, 5 days a week. But soon enough, 4 or 5 weeks out, all of a sudden that walking is no longer going to be 80% of your maximum ability, and you're going to have to do some power walking. Eventually you'll have to do some jogging. Eventually you might have to incorporate some metabolic training as you become more and more fit. So 80% is constant, but the intensity, the pace with which you do it, that will fluctuate. As you get more fit, you'll be able to go faster, you'll be able to lift heavier weights, et cetera, et cetera. So on our next episode, we're going to talk about how to figure out if you're at 80%, 100%, 70%, 60% of your training maximum ability. So thanks for tuning in today. If you like today's message, tag somebody below, share it with a friend, and we'll look forward to talking with you shortly.